I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been.
Okay.
So if they ask you how I feel,
What's up?
I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been.
I am.
So if they ask you how I feel,
What's up?
I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been.
That's right.
So if they ask you how I feel, I'ma tell you I feel amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing today? It is Wednesday, August 13th. Bearing Down the Gridiron is here live on today. Hope you enjoying the week as it goes along. We hit the halfway point of the week, as most people like to put it. But hey, we are here. We are in the building. I'm running solo for right now. But no biggie, we're going to still do the show, get the show done, do what we do best here. So thank y'all for tuning in. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, thank you for watching on the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can get notified anytime we throw a video up on YouTube. If you're watching on X, thank y'all. Slide over to the YouTube channel and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Matter of fact, follow us on X if you're there too. And if you're on my personal LinkedIn, Darnell Playmaker Sallins LinkedIn page, thank you for watching on there. But when you get a chance, slide over to the YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Anybody who wants to follow the podcast on their favorite platforms, you can find it everywhere. You can find podcasts that includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and so much more. All right. If you haven't seen the title yet, the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference. Might as well call it the All Coast Conference because you literally stretch from coast to coast, from the East Coast to the West Coast. Might as well call it the All Coast Conference, but for times and purposes, we'll call it the Atlantic Coast Conference. We'll be previewing that today. You will see our picks from today for me and Coach Johnson. And then we'll give you an update of where we stand so far. But we do have some news to get into. It's going to be very interesting. So let's go with the as we begin the no huddle right here, a couple of articles that came in the last minute that I want to touch. Fresno State named E.J. Warner, son of Hall of Famer Kurt Warner, as their starting quarterback. Fresno State named veteran transfer E.J. Warner, the team's starting quarterback Monday. Warner, the son of Pro Football Hall of Famer Kurt Warner, emerged from a three-man battle and will be Fresno State's Week 0 starter at Kansas on August 23rd. All right, which is not this Saturday coming, but the following Saturday. Warner started 31 games at Temple and Rice over the past 3 seasons, according to ESPN research. He brings an extensive experience and has thrown for more than 8,814 yards, 58 touchdowns, and only 37 interceptions. Congratulations, sir. You are the starting quarterback for the Nevada Wolfpack. Any Wolfpacks in the building? We'll see how you do. Good luck to you. And your first task at hand is going to Lawrence, Kansas to meet the Jayhawks. Oregon suspends former 5-star receiver Jaron Dickey. Oregon wide receiver Jaron Dickey has been suspended indefinitely, Coach Dan Lanning announced Tuesday. Dickey, a former five-star recruit, has played in 15 games in 2 years with the Ducks, but has had only 2 catches for 14 yards. Laney did not specify the reason for Dickey's suspension, but said the team has two team rules: be respectful, be on time. Whatever the reason is, sir, I hope you getting it through your head, man. You already in year 3, and in year 3, you have a combined 2 catches for 14 yards. So why is you getting suspended out of all people? I don't understand. I just don't understand. I'm trying to stay cordial here, but when you haven't produced nothing on the field, that's like the last thing you want to do is get suspended by a team like that, the Oregon Ducks. So I hope you got yourself together and you figure your next path, whether it's transferring or not, or getting yourself together and staying with the Ducks, but whatever the case may be, need you to get it together, okay? Need you to get it together. All right. Speaking of Kansas targets football upgrade new revenue from 300 million gift. The University of Kansas received a unprecedented $300 million gift from donor David Booth, believed to be among the largest single gift in the history of college athletics and largest in school history. Kansas plans to accolade $75 million of Booth's gift towards launching the second phase of its ongoing transformation of Dave Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium and construction of the surrounding Gateway District. This is what Kansas Athletic Director Travis Goff told ESPN. Though the school officials have not revealed a timetable for construction and completion of phase 2, the funds would allow Kansas to move forward with renovating the east side of the stadium after the 2025 football season. The remainder of Booth's gift would establish an annual additional revenue stream for Kansas athletics. This is what Goff told ESPN, saying, quote, I'll say it's transformative and a game changer. This gift makes an immediate impact on our top priority in a profound way. And it also provides us with an incredible revenue stream that gives us a chance to really invest in unique ways in the future of Kansas athletics. Close quote. Well, Kansas got a gift. Can you say? They got a gift. A huge gift at that. But they got a gift, so it's all good. It's all good. Shout out to David Booth for being such a charitable guy. Very charitable. I do say so myself? Very, very, very charitable. All right, now let's get into what I do have on the slide. Jimbo Fisher has a lot to give as college coaching return. Jimbo Fisher, who received a record $76 million buyout after he was fired as Texas A&M head coach back in 2023, he says he wants to return to the sideline. Fisher, who recently joined the ACC network as an analyst, told the Trial to Trumpet podcast earlier this week that he is looking for the right situation to get back into coaching at the college level. He said, quote, I am 59, in great shape and health. I've had success everywhere we have been. The end at Texas A&M is unfortunate, but we also had the highest ranked team they ever had there in 2020. Our quarterbacks got hurt. We played with first team, third team. It was hard to get play calling and guys around. Didn't pan out like we needed to, but I still love it. Close quote. Fisher, who was hired by Texas A&M ahead of the 2018 season, later received a 10-year, $95 million deal in 2021. He was fired by the Aggies in November 2023 after going 45-25. Prior to that, he went 83-23 at Florida State, winning the 2013 national championship and 3 consecutive ACC championships from 2012 to 2014. So, Jimbo says he's not done with the college game just yet. He wants to make a return, but he's looking for the right fit. What would be the right fit for Jimbo Fisher now that I'm thinking about it? That's a very good question. What would be the correct fit for a Jimbo Fisher? I'm thinking about that. But as we ponder on a good fit for Mr. Jimbo Fisher, Jimbo will appear weekly on the ACC Huddle on Saturdays on the ACC Network. So if you're a Jimbo Fisher fan and you want to hear from the old coach, every Saturday, the ACC Huddle on the ACC Network. There you go. But yeah, I'm thinking about it. What would be a good fit for Jimbo, though? It's an interesting thought. I don't know. I got to think on that one. I really got to think. I'm trying to think of schools that I know that probably gonna need a coach after this upcoming season. I can't think of anybody right now. I could say Mike Novell in Florida State, but that's a large buyout. Bill just got North Carolina. We'll see if he lasts more than a year there. Because people think Bill Belichick is gonna do 1 year, he's gonna be gone. So you might have to put North Carolina on the list. Miami's good. Florida's good for the time being. We'll see what Kellen the boy do with this Alabama team coming in. We'll see about that. Even though people might not like it, but I don't see Brian Kelly going anywhere from LSU anytime soon. So that's interesting. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm thinking. I can't think of a team right now. That would be a good fit for Jimbo. I just don't know. We'll have to wait and see. From Jimbo Fisher to the aforementioned Alabama. Ty Simpson named Alabama starting quarterback for your opener. Ty Simpson will open the 2025 season as Alabama starting quarterback. Coach Stalin, the boy, said. Simpson, who has served as Alabama's backup quarterback each of the past 2 seasons and is in his 4th year on campus. He beat out redshirt freshman Austin Mack and 2 freshmen, Keelan Russell, for the job. Simpson and his teammates were informed of the decision Monday during the meeting. Simpson said, quote, "They went through the X's and O's of why I should be the starter, and said they were very proud of the quarterback room for how tight-knit we were," close quote. Their boy and offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb said multiple times this summer that Simpson would be the starter if the Crimson Tide were to play a game right then. Well, he is the starter. He won the position. He won the job. Shout out to you. Shout out to you for handling business and doing what you need to do. And now you are the starting quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide, which could be an important year for one killing the boar, especially after what happened last season. But congratulations to you. You earned your stripes, sir. You earned your stripes. From Alabama to Norman, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's John Matei never betted on sports was inside joke. Speaking of quarterbacks, Oklahoma starting quarterback John Matei, after screenshots of past reference to sports gambling on his Vimeo account surfaced online Monday, denied ever being involved in gambling, saying Tuesday it was instead, quote, inside jokes, close quote, with his friends. School officials became aware of the screenshots later Monday night and are looking into the situation, a source told ESPN Pete Thelma. Mentors posted on X saying, quote, the allegations that I once participated in sports gambling are false. My previous Venmo description did not accurately portray the transactions in question, but were instead inside jokes between me and my friends. I have never bet on sports. I understand the seriousness of the matter, but recognize that taken out of content, those Venmo descriptions suggest otherwise. I can assure my teammates, coaches, and officials at the NCAA that I have not engaged in any sports gambling. Close quote. Screenshot posted Monday night showed Meta allegedly twice included sports gambling in memos for transactions on November 20th, 2022, while he was a freshman at Washington State. Both transactions were allegedly made to a Venmo account for Richard Renton, believed to be a teammate at Washington State at the time. College athletes are prohibited from betting on any sports offered by the NCAA, with penalties up to loss of eligibility. OU Athletics issued a statement saying, quote, it takes any allegation of gambling seriously and works closely with the NCAA in any situation of concern. The school said it is aware of any NCAA investigation and has no reason to believe there is one pending, close quote. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna go up. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go up. I'm gonna read Mr. John Mateer's statement again. That he not statement where he posted on X. So I'm gonna read this again. The allegations that I once participated in sports gambling are false. My previous Venmo descriptions did not accurately portray the transactions in question, but were instead inside jokes between me and my friends. I have never betted on sports. I understand the seriousness of the matter, but recognize that taken out of content, those Venmo descriptions suggest otherwise. I can assure my teammates, coaches, and officials at the NCAA that I have not engaged in any sports gambling. If you know that betting on sports is a serious matter, and if you say you take this as seriously as you said it is, why did you put yourself in the big position in the first place? That's what I want to know. Now, this does go back to your freshman year, so maybe, just maybe, you didn't understand back then in 2022. 3 years later, you probably understand it now. But during 2022, we had problems with gambling in the NCAA, football, basketball, whatever the case may be. And I'm pretty sure he has ran across it. Why do y'all joke in situations that you know is going to put you in a bad spot? But yet y'all still do it. I don't understand. I don't. An inside joke that might cost you your career. I want you to think about that. An inside joke might cost this man his career at football, of college football, because him and his friend want to do an inside joke about something that is very seriously taken, not just in college, but in every goddamn sport. NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, you name it. I don't understand. I really don't. I just don't get it. I really don't, but Hopefully these people will learn at some point or not. And don't try to turn something that's supposed to be that's taken seriously into an inside joke. You want to have fun, I get all that, but gambling is a serious issue, especially when you're playing collegiate sports. Especially when you play collegiate sports. So you I'm gonna need the young man to get his mind right. Let the Unfortunately let the investigation take its course. And hopefully the NCAA rules in his favor. Because if they don't, I feel bad for him. But at the same time, a joke that you was willing to participate in got you in this mess. So hopefully, hopefully, the NCAA rules in your favor when they do this investigation, and you can get past this. But man, I'm gonna need you to. I really need you to get on the ball and get yourself together, sir. Please and thank you. Now, now let's get to the fun stuff. Now let's get to the fun stuff, shall we? The preseason AP pros are out. And well, let's just say I have the rankings right here. I just want to try to see the rankings. Texas number one, Penn State number two, the defending national champions number three in Ohio State, Clemson four, Georgia five, Notre Dame six, Oregon seven, Alabama eight, LSU nine, and rounding out the top 10 is the Miami Hurricanes. 11, Arizona State 12, Illinois 13, South Carolina 14 is Michigan, 15 the Florida Gators, 16 the SMU Mustangs, the Kansas State Wildcats coming in 17, Oklahoma Sooners 18, Texas A&M Aggies 19, Indiana Hoosiers 20, the Ole Miss Rebels 21, Iowa State Cyclones 22, Texas Tech Red Raiders 23, Tennessee Volunteers 24, and rounding out the top 25 is the Boise State Broncos. What a top 25 this is. So, I'm going to tell you this as we are 2 weeks away from opening week. Well, I was going to say open. 2 weeks away from week one happening. So, you're going to have number one at number three. You're going to have number six going against number 10. You're going to have number 9 going against number 4. Oh, yeah, you're getting a lot of juicy, and I do mean juicy matchups week one. Now that these rankings came out, oh, it's going to be lovely. Oh, it's going to be lovely. Very lovely. So that should be fun with this top 25 rankings here. My Gators are in rank 15, which is interesting. There is some interest going down in Gainesville. If you heard us talk about if you heard us preview the SEC last week, said there was some hype around Gainesville for once, and as you see here, we'll pick 6 to finish in the ACC in the SEC. Now we're ranked 15 at the beginning of the season. I still don't like these damn rankings though. I might be having fun with it, but I hate how you ranking teams before they even touch the damn field. That's what I want to know. We don't even know. See, last year, if I remember correctly, Florida State was ranked number 10 to start the season, and that went down here very quickly. Like, can we get some games? Can we get like 4 or 5 games in, then we can rank teams? That way we know and understand who and what's going on here. Can we do that? Is there a way to do that? Because I'm just asking. Okay? I'm just asking because I'm very interested of how this is going to go. So, but before I continue on, Longhorns are week 1 underdogs to Ohio State despite number 1 rank. Texas, fresh off first number 1 ranking in the preseason Associated Press top 25 poll in program history, finds itself as a 2.5 point underdogs to number 3 Ohio State for the week 1 showdown in Columbus, according to ESPN Sport bet lines. Barring significant line movement, this would mark the Longhorns as the first top-ranked team to be an underdog in Week 1, according to ESPN research data dating back to 1978. 1978, that's a long time. The previous tightest Week 1 point spread for a number 1 team was when Florida State lost outright as a 4-point favorite at number 8 Miami in 1988. Auburn almost lost as a 5-point favorite against number 10 Miami in 1984. While Notre Dame won and covered as a 5-point favorite against number 4 Michigan in 1990. ESPN Bet reports Texas Ohio State as its most bet college football game in early betting, with the Longhorns attracting 54.1% of the handle on the spread and 73.6% on the handle on the money line, plus 115. On the total, 48.5. 26.4% of the bets and 56.4% of money are on the under 115. Texas and Ohio State are the 2 betting favorites for the national championship, as they both show a plus 550 odds to win the college football playoffs. Number 2, Penn State, which missed the top spot in the AP poll by just 5 points, is next on the odds boards at plus 600. Oh, I wish Cole Johnson was here because I'd be laughing my butt off right now. The Associated Press said Texas is the number 1 ranked team in the country. They're the best team going into the football season. The defending national champ will rank them 3. And ESPN said, oh, really? Well, Ohio State's favorite and Texas is the underdog. How you like them apples? Dang! Boy, I tell you. Ooh. And those of you who want who wants to know the juiciness of week 1. So you have Texas at Ohio State at 12 noon. That's big noon kickoff on Fox. Ohio State is 2.5-point favorites. As of right now, the over-under is 48.5. Another juicy game you might want to look at, Syracuse at Tennessee. Is not at Tennessee. I believe that game is in Atlanta, if I remember correctly. That's at 12 p.m. on ABC. Tennessee is a 14.5-point favorite with the over-under at 50.5. Another juicy game you might want to pay attention to. Let's go down to the 3:30 slot and this is all Saturday, August 30th, the first week of the season. Full week of the season, so I say, because we got week 0 coming up next week. 3:30 slot. Number 8 Alabama is in Campbell Stadium to take on the Florida State Seminoles. The Tide is 13.5-point favorites. As we keep rolling on down, we get to the 7:30 game. Prime time action. Number 9 LSU at Clemson. Number 4. Clemson's 4.5-point favorites in that game. The Battle of Death Valleys. Oh, don't worry. We'll be talking about most of these games in 2 weeks anyway. When we do our campus tour. But I just want to give you a preview of what kind of games you can look forward to in week 1. Number 6. This is Sunday, August 30th, the final day of the 8th month of the year. Number 6, Notre Dame traveling down to Coral Gables to take on the Miami Hurricanes. Actually, they're not traveling down to Coral Gables. They're actually traveling to Miami. They'll be playing at Hard Rock Stadium. And the Notre Dame Fighting Irish are 2.5-point favorites. Some juiciness to start off the college football season, and I love it. I love it. Man, you just got to love what they do here in college football. And that will do it for the No Huddle. All right. Now that we got that out the way, as I said last week, no commercials. Just going to get through this and get to what we need to get to. So let's go to the ACC. The Atlantic Coast Conference should be called the All Coast Conference because, geez, you actually stretch from coast to coast. You got teams in California part of this conference, and you got teams on the East Coast as part of this conference. Anyway, the Clemson Tigers, the 2024 ACC champions, they recaptured the title after being given a second chance at life thanks to Syracuse knocking off Miami. And then they went down to Charlotte and they upset SMU to win the Atlantic Coast Conference, giving them a spot in the college football playoffs where they got upended in the first round by Texas. Speaking of SMU, in their first year as a ACC school, 11-3 record overall, undefeated in ACC play on their way to the ACC title game before getting beat by the aforementioned Clemson Tigers. Hell of a season by the SMU Mustangs with nobody talking about them because everybody's focused on the Clemson Tigers and the two Florida teams, which I'm finna get into right now. The Miami Hurricanes, 10-3 overall, 6-2 in ACC play. However, they finished the season 1-3 in a final 4 games, including the losing in the Pop-Tart Bowl to the Iowa State Cyclones. Started off so well, Miami. Started off so well, then you messed around and you got upended by Georgia Tech first in Atlanta. But you still had a chance to make it to Charlotte and play for the ACC title. Then you got up in the Q-Dome against the Syracuse Orangemen, which gave Clemson the opportunity, and that's why Clemson ended up winning the ACC. And then you got beat, as I aforementioned, in the Pop-Tart Bowl against Iowa State from the Big 12. The biggest disappointment of the ACC, or college football that is in the general in 2024, the Florida State Seminoles. Coming off an undefeated season in 2023, was snubbed from the college football playoffs. They went with Alabama instead of Florida State because of the injury to Jordan Travis. And then they get blown to smithereens. Shout out to the Snowman. By Georgia in the Orange Bowl, 56-3. And then they come into the 2024 season, as I mentioned earlier, and get upset by Georgia Tech out in Ireland, and it was a downward spiral from that point forward as they went 2-10 overall and 1-7 in ACC play. So, Mike Novell, what you gonna do? How is you going to rectify what took place in 2024 here in 2025? Because the fall from grace was steep and swift if you're a Florida State fan. You have Florida State fans showing up with bags over their head. It was abysmal to watch Florida State look the way that they look in 2024. Miami was looking good. They just didn't finish. That's the only problem with Miami. They looked good until it's time to finish. LSU, nobody saw coming. Clemson regained their throne. So you can't be mad at what took place for Clemson. They handled business. They got what they needed to get done, and it is what it is. So that is your overview for the ACC from 2024. Now let's go into the key non-conference games for members of the Atlantic Coast Conference. On August 29th, I believe that will be a Friday night, Georgia Tech will kick off their season at Boulder, Colorado to take on Coach Prime and the Buffaloes. Should be a good game. Very good game. Yes, the Syracuse Tennessee game is in Atlanta. We already talked about Alabama going to Doak Campbell Stadium to take on the Florida State Seminoles. We talked about LSU and Clemson being down in South Carolina in the Battle of the Death Valleys. I'm looking forward to Virginia Tech and South Carolina meeting up in Atlanta on the 31st of this month. That's the same. That's before Notre Dame, the aforementioned Notre Dame Miami game takes place. Monday, Labor Day, September 1st. Chapel Bill. Coach Bill Belichick and the North Carolina Tar Heels host TCU. That should be an interesting way to kick off the Bill Belichick era, if there is an era, in North Carolina. A sneaky game in Louisville, Kentucky on September 5th, where the James Madison will be traveling to Louisville to take on the Cardinals. Pay attention. James Madison, they took care of North Carolina last year. So if you're Louisville, be on your P's and Q's. Just saying. Just giving Louisville a run to be on your P's and Q's because James Madison, they knocked off North Carolina, so they in familiar territory with the ACC team. Is all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. Illinois is chiming into Duke. That should be a fun one. Virginia Tech is hosting Vanderbilt. That should be an interesting one on September 6th. Another game. We got the backyard brawl will be September 13th up in Mountain View. Well, Pitt and West Virginia would do battle. Looking forward to that one. Minnesota at Cal. Interesting one. September 20th. The Florida Gators travel down to Coral Gables to take on the Miami Hurricanes. Of course, we played last year in the swap and we got our ass whooped, so my Gators are looking for payback. We'll see if we can make it happen. SMU and TCU to do battle. Gonna be an interesting game out in Fort Worth, Texas. Same day, North Carolina taking on UCF at the Bounce House. Bill Belichick traveling to the Bounce House. I want to see how he handles that environment. That should be a fun one. And we go down to October 11, NC State at Notre Dame. Wake Forest at Oregon State. Let's go down to November 15th. Notre Dame is going to Pitt. And then the week after, November 22nd, Syracuse is going to Notre Dame. Thanksgiving week, beginning November 28th. Good old-fashioned hate. This time in the ATL, Georgia Tech. That was a thrilling game in Athens last year. 8 overtimes. Georgia Tech had opportunities to knock out the board. They just couldn't do it. Now they're the home team. Can they pull it off at home on this one? And then, of course, your annual Florida matchup. This one will be in the swamp. Your Kentucky and Louisville matchup in Louisville. And then your Clemson, South Carolina matchup. This one will be in Columbia, South Carolina. So those are your key non-conference games right here. Looking forward to a lot of these matches. See if the ACC can raise their level and try to compete with the SEC. Because you got what? Let me see. You got Syracuse, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida State, Virginia Tech, South Carolina. You got 3 SEC, ACC matches right out the gate. And then you have another one September 6th when Vanderbilt goes to Virginia Tech. Your next matchup with the ACC is September 20th when Florida heads down to Miami to take on the Hurricanes. Then you have, let's see what else you got. Then you have Georgia Tech, Georgia, Florida State, Florida, Kentucky, Louisville, and you have Clemson. South. 9 matchups this season when the SEC takes on the ACC. Should be some fun games to watch from start to finish here. But y'all do have a lot of matchups y'all do have quite a few matchups with the Big 12 too. Because if I'm looking at Georgia Tech at Colorado, that's an ACC Big 12 matchup. TCU at North Carolina, that's an ACC Big 12 matchup. Baylor at SMU. You also have Stanford at BYU. Pitt at West Virginia. Okay, that's 5 right there. SMU at TCU. North Carolina at Central Florida. That's 7 right there. I think that would be it. Yeah, that's it. So you got what 9, 10 matches with the SEC, 7 matches with the Big 12. How many you got any with the Big 10? If I'm looking at this correctly, with the Big 10, Illinois and Duke. That's a Big 10 ACC matchup. That might be the only one that I can see. Minnesota at Cal. That's 2. That look about it. Yeah, that's about it. So the ACC, they scheduled themselves pretty decently this year. You want to see what the ACC is like. You gonna find out. You gonna find out. You got a lot of non-conference games with other powerful conferences. So let's see how that goes. Victor, what's up, homie? How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. So we go from the key non-conference game to the key conference game, shall we? And as we go to the key conference games, wrong button, my bad. We ain't gonna go through all of them, but I will say this: September 11, which is 9/11, unfortunately, that will be on a Saturday. Clemson going to Georgia Tech is a very interesting early matchup to take notice of out the gate. Then September 20th, Clemson is hosting Syracuse. All right. Another matchup that I'm intrigued about. I want to see Virginia Tech at NC State on September 27th. Then we hit the month of October. Clemson at North Carolina on October 4th. That is also the Miami Florida State rivalry in Tallahassee. SMU and Syracuse meet down in Dallas, Texas. That's all October 4th. So October 4th is a pretty good lineup for if you're an ACC fan. That's a pretty good lineup. October 11th, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech would be an interesting one. October 17th, you got Louisville traveling to Miami. North Carolina making that long trip to Berkeley to take on the Cal Golden Bears. Want to see how Bill Belichick handles that long distance travel from North Carolina all the way over to California. October 18th, SMU at Clemson. That should be a very interesting game right there. Very interesting game. Let's jump down to October 25th, Syracuse at Georgia Tech. Because Syracuse is going to build on what they did last year. I'm looking forward to what them and Georgia Tech look like this year. Halloween, you got North Carolina at Syracuse. That's Halloween. North Carolina at the Q-Dome to take on the Orange Man. That is very interesting there. Then we hit the month of November. The month of November, we got Louisville going to Blacksburg, Virginia. Looking forward to that. Miami heading to Dallas to take on SMU Mustangs. November 8th, which happens to be my birthday. My birthday's on a Saturday for once. Good gracious. Florida State goes to Clemson. Syracuse goes to Miami. November 14th, Clemson at Louisville. Let's go down to November 22nd, Duke, Carolina, even though it's football. Louisville, SMU, Miami at Virginia Tech. And then November 29th, which is Thanksgiving weekend. So those who are not involved in rivalries with the SEC, the other games will see SMU traveling out to Cal, Miami at Pitt, North Carolina State, and then Virginia Tech at Virginia. So those are some key conference games that we are looking forward to. For the ACC might be on the sun. They might be on the come up. I don't know. If they show out in the non-conference schedule and their top teams handle business in the conference games, ACC might have an opportunity to get 2, maybe 3 in. But for right now, I can only see 1, and that one would be Clemson. And yes, even though Cole Johnson ain't here, he playing Clemson too. So both of us are picking Clemson. So yes, we finally agree on the damn conference. And it had to be the ACC out of all the goddamn conferences. Yes, it had to be the ACC. Damn. I wanted us to pick different on all four conferences, but guess it's not meant to be on this one. We both going Clemson. So there you go. We both going with the Clemson Tigers to win the ACC. I have Colorado winning the Big 12. Cole Johnson has BYU winning the Big 12. I have Texas. Yes, I picked Cole's Longhorns to win the SEC. And Cole, he did not pick his Longhorns. He's picking Georgia. Which leaves one conference left to preview, and that is the Big 10 Conference. The Big 10 has the last two national champions, Michigan 2 years before, and then last year the Ohio State Buckeyes, who come in ranked number 3. Very disrespectful by the Associated Press. The defending champs is going to be ranked 3, and the team they got to play first is ranked number 1. You just giving them the reason to win that game. Damn, that's so disrespectful. But nevertheless, next week we will preview the Big 10. We might dive into a little week 0 action. Probably let's preview some games in week 0 just to look out for. And then the following week is week 1 of the regular season begins. We will also fill in our 12-team playoff. See which 12 teams we'll have making the playoffs and go from there. So on behalf of one Mr. Cole Johnson, who unfortunately couldn't be with us today. It's all good. We'll make things happen the way that we always do. Iron the Playmaker, this has been Bearing Down the Gridiron. Remember, like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so anytime we go live, anytime we post our videos, anytime we do anything on YouTube, you can get the notification on it and you can stay up to date with us. Also, we launched our website, the Playmakers Blog website, playmakersblog.com. Make sure you'll check it out. We have we innovated, revamped, and relaunched our website so you can see a lot of our content right there. If you love this show, if you love listening to the audio, listen to the playback, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you find your podcast. Also, this will be available on the Real Rise Radio. Shout out to my bro, Rise at Hefe. Appreciate you. This has been Bear Down the Gridiron. Sharp takes, smart debates, all college football. Y'all have a good one. Deuces.